Wednesday's hearing centered in on what Grassley is calling the Judicial Relief Clarification Act. It's his proposal to ban universal injunctions. That's when a single federal judge blocks a policy nationwide, even if the case was brought by just one or two people. Grassley says it's time to rein in what he calls, quote, unconstitutional judicial overreach.
For the first 175 years of our history, universal injunctions were unheard of. They've been extremely rare until the last decade. Now we can barely read the news without learning of another district judge issuing an order that covers all 93 judicial districts in the country.
Grassley's bill would amend federal law to limit judges to ruling only on the parties who brought the case. No more blanket rulings that apply to people who didn't sue, unless it's a certified class action. The bill would also make temporary restraining orders, or TROs, immediately appealable, closing what Grassley calls a dangerous loophole.
From your perspective, how significant is the problem of universal injunctions to the relationship between the executive and judicial branch?
Thank you, Chairman. It's a great question. I think it's a very significant problem. Every single case, every single policy of the executive branch becomes an emergency that needs to move up the appellate ladder very quickly.
Republicans argue the judicial system's checks and balances are branching too far.
There have been more nationwide injunctions in the past 2 months against President Trump than in the entire 20th century. Nationwide injunctions are an abuse of power.
Cruz blasted what he calls radical judges for blocking Trump immigration orders and other federal policies. He even accused Democrats of, quote, hating democracy and using the courts for political warfare. But Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar says those injunctions are happening because Trump's policies are illegal.
The only reason there's all these injunctions, Senator Cruz, is because he's violating the Constitution. Ours is a nation of laws in which no one is above the law.
She points out many of these judges were appointed by Republicans, including Trump himself. She also warned that stripping courts of this power could make it harder to stop harmful or illegal policies in real time. Meanwhile, Grassley says his bill isn't about politics. It's about preserving democratic self-government.
We all have to agree to give up universal injunctions as a weapon against policies we disagree with. The damage it causes to the judicial system and our democracy is really too great.
The bill is already gaining momentum with over 20 Republican co-sponsors and a similar proposal moving in the House. In studio, Nikal Haj, Iowa's News Now.